series that I made. This is actually my least favorite series because it's kind of just a Civ 5 game, but I just decide what happens. It's not as interesting as a Civ 5 game, obviously, but yeah, we'll be doing another part of this series of Civ 5. What if Civ 5? This will be another 10 to 15 minute video because this series is not the most interesting series in the world. So we'll be going first in North America. So the first event happens in North America. Happens with a war between the Sassoni and the Polynesians. So the Sassoni invade a lot of these Polynesian lands. Here. They invade Polynesian California and also Polynesian Vancouver. But Polynesia does get its army all the way from the Pacific to California, as it is the most valuable territory. This caused them to invade a lot of the Sonoran Desert here and Arizona and New Mexico. But also, another territory wants to break free is this Oregon territory. Oregon and Washington territory, these countries want to be a separate state, so these countries also fight for their independence. This is a massive blow to Sassoni as they're losing some of the most valuable land. Sassoni put the army over here, and yeah, this is a pretty massive bloodbath here, as thousands of troops are killed in this battle. Yeah, so basically this is near the end of the war, and the Sassoni do lose access to this desert here, and they do lose access to this gulf down here, but they do lose land to the Polynesians. The Polynesians actually put up a pretty big fight, because, again, the Sassoni looks big, but a lot of this land up here is basically useless. This land over here is useless, basically, beside the capital, and most of the population is centered towards here and here, and that is a pretty big problem. So the peace treaty that happens, the Sassoni will lose all of this land down here. They'll lose these two territories down here, but the Polynesians will lose this island here, and this little country right here will gain its independence. They'll only be the tip of Washington, but they will be an independent country, as the Sassoni didn't really have any drive to go after them, as it kind of was a very unpopulated part of this big populated area. So Sassoni were kind of like screwed over in this battle, and they might want revenge in the future. South America, well, the first war in South America begins. It is over this lake here between Brazil and the Incas, and Brazil starts to invade this area here of the lake and completely surround it. Problem is, Brazil is a much more powerful country. They start to invade a lot of the Incan land down here, cutting this area off, and they start to basically go up north to this area up here. This causes the Incan army to basically ask another country to join in the war, and they ask the Mayans to join the war. The Mayans join the war, and they start an offensive up here, and they take a lot of this land up here which was undefended. This causes the Brazilian army to panic and divert some of the resources up here to defend against the Mayan army. Thankfully, the Mayans are not a very powerful country, so Brazil is able to push them back up here to the border that they had. So this, however, gave enough time for the Incans to counterattack and take back all of this land in Argentina and Chile, and even take parts of Bolivia away. Brazil is very upset about this and starts to take the land back. This war basically becomes a stalemate, and yeah, nothing really happens. Yeah, but Brazil, however, does get full sovereignty over the lake. That's basically what this entire war is over. And the Incas don't gain anything, the Mayans don't gain anything, and Brazil also does gain this little area down here. down here. But other than that, South America's borders do not change. Now it's Africa, and the Zulus fight Ethiopia again. But however, the Songhai doesn't want the Zulus to become the most powerful country in the world. So basically, the Zulus have to fight two armies at once. This is a pretty difficult battle. The Zulus do take this area, but they also have to worry about the Songhai here, and they do push for a little bit because they do have the fourth biggest army in the world. But this is a pretty big problem, as this is basically what happens. Nothing happens. Wins. Also, the Zulus now face an eternal backlash from various countries from within. This blue nation declared its independence, and this country right here declared its independence. And now the war has to end, so the Zulus don't have to deal with these two countries. Right here, basically, this is like a Zambia country, and this is a Namibia country, and the Zulus send a weekend army to fight these countries. This is basically, the Zulus are able to again defeat the rebels, but the Zulus, they can't really declare any wars because, again, up here is a highly unstable area. Now it's Europe, daily Europe update. So, the Romans declare war on Carthage. They invade this Sicily, and this might be the elimination of Carthage. So they start to invade Carthage from the north, and up here, they also start to throw up rebels in the Sahara Desert, here, which do not want to be a part of Carthage at all. And then they also, Morocco sees this as an opportunity to get some land from Carthage, so they invade this way as well. This causes this war to basically end with Carthage's elimination. So Carthage did have a good run, but they kind of like of Byzantium lose the war at the very end when the Romans reach their capital. So this is gonna be the peace treaty here. So the Romans will get their access to this part of Africa. This greenest country will be an independent country. Their capital will be right here in the middle. Will be actually very close to Egypt and Songhai, because that's kind of like where half of the population is, and the Moroccans will basically control half of this part of the country. So next is the Daily Middle Eastern update. So Egypt invades Assyria, to basically continue to control, so they invaded from up here, and Assyria is gonna be another country that will be eliminated very quickly. Also, Lebanon gains its independence as well, which is a pretty big blow to it. So Egypt, kind of takes out Assyria, and like that, Lebanon and Assyria is basically gone too. So Assyria, which again is a pretty strong early game country, we're now approaching the mid game, and Assyria couldn't keep up, and they're now eliminated. Lebanon now takes over as basically Assyria 2.0, and now Lebanon is an independent country. Lebanon's capital will be on the coast, and they'll be allies of Egypt as well. So that's Daily Middle Eastern update. Also, this area up here, this Kurdish country, does gain its independence. The Ottomans try to fight against the Kurdish army, but the Kurdish army the small Kurdish country gains its independence for at least this video. This is to basically give them, Ottomans, they have been doing pretty okay, but not as good as other countries. Next is the Europeans. Daily Europe update. So, England fights against the Celts again to further push the Celts outside of. They even take the capital. The Celts, however, do move the capital to Ireland, so their capital will be here now, as that's where they settle. That's where the largest settlement is. and they take over all of Scotland. This causes England to basically create the United Kingdom, and the Celts are basically mostly restricted to islands now, as the country is on the verge of collapse anyways. The new capital will be here, which basically means the Celts is a very weak country, as they can't really control the colonial holdings as they gain their independence. And then we also have another very massive war, Poland versus Greece. The battle starts over this little area here, and Poland starts to invade Greece. Greece starts to invade Poland. This is a pretty bad thing for Russia, as Russia is, over here. But Poland starts to invade Greece. Greece starts to invade Poland, and Poland is basically backed to up here, as Greece is one of the most powerful countries in the world. This causes Greece to defeat Poland pretty easily, but Poland will not be eliminated. They will not be eliminated so quickly. Poland will lose a lot of land to Greece. This will cause Greece to basically become a pretty big, powerful country. As well, this causes countries like Russia to be worried. As Greece is becoming an actual superpower of a country. Poland will still be there. They will also have this area here. This Baltic area. But this Baltic area will be... This small area, which is completely cut off by Denmark, will become its own independent country, as Denmark basically cuts it off. So they will become a small republic here. Don't know what to name this country, but they will become a small country here, basically cut off from the rest of Poland. Now Asia. Mongolia sees an opportunity to invade Kazakhstan, which is what they do. They start putting the troops in the border and start to invade Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan is not a very powerful country. The Huns also declare war against Kazakhstan, but they gained independence last episode, and this is not good for Kazakhstan, as Kazakhstan will be defeated by the Huns once again, alongside Mongolia, and then Russia also takes part in the war. This causes Kazakhstan to basically be divided into amongst the three powers, and the peace treaty. Mongolia will gain all of this land here. Russia will gain all of this land here, including the capital city of Kazakhstan. And the Huns will actually only gain this amount. This causes the Huns to be really upset, as Russia entered the war later than the Huns, and the Huns lost land. This causes the Huns to basically declare war on Russia. This is a pretty bad move for the Huns, as Russia invades this area right here very quickly, and they invade up here very quickly as well. Here they fund rebels in various portions of the Huns, including this other Kazakhstan country. I actually think this area is part of Mongolia. But this Kazakhstan country gains its independence as well. This is a pretty bad day for the Huns, and Russia sends a massive army. Russia is actually preparing for a war against the Huns. The Huns are not a very powerful country. Also, this country down here, this Pincus team also declares its independence here. So this Pincus country, which is basically Circassia, gains its independence, and the Huns have a pretty bad day, as Hun's army is pretty spread out. Meanwhile, Russia's not able to invade the Ukrainian portion, but they're able to invade the very undefended portions of the Huns, which causes the Kazakh rebels to basically create a new country. However, now with the focus on Ukraine, they start to invade Ukraine as well. They take over the capital, they take over Attila's court, and they basically defeat the Ukrainian country here. So, this country is defeated. And that is the last war of the video. So the Huns will also be eliminated as well. Well, and simply shows Inga cannot always win. So Russia will be pretty generous to Kazakhstan and give them a pretty large chunk of land. Kazakhstan will become a Russian ally, so this Kazakhstan government will be a Russian ally as they help them defeat the Huns. Same thing with the Circassia country will gain a lot of land as well, but Russia will gain almost all of the Hunnic territories as well, but the Circassia country will gain its independence and will be an ally of Russia. Now in the South Asia, most of the countries still are pretty cool with each other. No major wars yet in Asia. And yeah, that is about this video, part of the video here. And yeah, there are some pretty major expansion including Greece and Russia and the Mongolians as well, with the elimination of the Huns and Assyria and, of course, Tunisia, no, not Tunisia, Carthage as well. So 3 civs have actually been eliminated, and also the Celts were eradicated from the island as well. But yeah, that's about this video here. Goodbye.